Hey guys, my name is Kevin, and I've been kind of working with your customer service, and they asked me to send an email about some of my problems. And because I think emails can be long and boring and a lot of information get lost, I just recorded a quick video for you. There are two things I'm going to talk about. You can skip ahead in the video if a part is relevant or not relevant to you, because I'm guessing two different groups will be working on this. I have one issue that deals with the accelerometer in my Garmin Edge, my jumpometer, if you will. And the other one is some user interface suggestions. My day job is actually, in part, designing apps for people to use in the field for GPS. So I spend a lot of time thinking about how to make a good user experience. And particularly for those people who need to quickly look at something and then look away, say like a mountain biker. Anyway, just thoughts I could throw at you. First thing, I have had one of your Edge units for several months now, since I think actually last winter, and it's worked flawlessly. And one of the things I really have enjoyed is tracking my jumps. In the last month or so, something seems to have changed. In Colorado, our trails are really rocky, but we have a lot of jumps and we also have a lot of drops. What I found that's been interesting is if I'm on a smoother trail and there's a big jump that's quite smooth, the jumpometer records perfectly. If I'm on a trail that has drops, so there's not like a lip up, but it's just a drop off, the jumpometer is not really working very well. It's only recording maybe 50% of those as airtime. And then if the trail is bumpy, so there's a bunch of rocks and there's a big jump, it's missing at least half of them. And like I said, this is new. It didn't used to be this way. I haven't changed anything about my bike setup, or for that matter, to the best of my knowledge, my GPS is set up. So I'm hoping you might be able to help me out there. Someone who I was working with asked me to send some pictures. So you can see I have my jump recording turned on. Here's two different bikes that I use this Garmin unit with, the same unit, just different bikes. The top one is a standard Garmin mount that's rubber band mounted. Side note, the rubber band mounts just don't work well on mountain bikes. You need something beefier most of the time, or else the unit starts rotating around. The bottom picture is a K-edge mount that's mounted firmly to my stem. There's no wiggle in it at all. And like I said, both of these I've used extensively in the past and had no problems. It's only recently that I've started to see this issue. Okay. The second thing I wanted to talk about, and this is more for your user experience people, I have noticed that because I'm a mountain biker, I can't look down for very long when I'm riding my bike. You know, you'll crash, you'll hit a rock, you'll hit a tree, whatever. And so I wanted to point out something that I think could be a big improvement. On the left is your current four item screen. And what I'd say is that you've got small font above whatever the descriptive thing is, say heart rate, speed, and you have this huge wide screen space that's empty. And if you do what I suggest on the right, which is a more quick look version, you make the font bigger, put that on the left, and the descriptor on the right. By doing this, I was able to increase the font size by over 30%. And I think most people will know when they look at the screen, they've programmed it. So they're going to know that the top thing is heart rate and the second thing is speed. Also, if your heart rate is 12.1, you're really in trouble. One thing in particular I'd point out is that there's no way to show your gears without having a graphic, at least now. And I don't think that's really useful. For example, what you have now, there's a little red-orange bar that'll show up to show what gear I'm in. That's almost impossible to interpret on the fly, like you're sitting there trying to count them out. On the left, you have something that says you're in gear 7 out of 12 or something like that. But that font's actually really small. And with issues with things like the numbers 4 or 6, things like that, where there's a bit of sort of visual overlap, it's hard to tell which one you're in, and that can actually really matter. By doing what I suggest here, you could actually have that font be really big, and people know what gear they're in. If you wanted to do front and rear gear, I think it'd be really easy to do sort of 7 and an R and then do, 1 and F or something like that in that same placeholder. Or set it up so that you can do, 5 screens and one is your rear gear and one is your front gear, but use the same convention that I've had here. I think this would make a huge difference in terms of how quick people can read things. Again, I know when you're on the road, maybe it's not that big of a deal, but as a mountain biker, these things really matter because it's hard to look down and digest what you're seeing. Anyway, hope this helps. Bye-bye.